A pleasant good day to all listening to the program today. We welcome all. Well, it has been a while since Sister Cherry Dan Garnett and myself has been on the program, and some of you may have thought that we are done with it and then we are doing something else. But no, that's not the case. That is not the case. So, as usual, we like to welcome all those in prison, in the hospital bed, wherever you may be. We always ask you all guys to share the program to your family members, to your co-workers, your classmates, grandma, grandpa, those of you who lying at home sick on on your back for years. Everybody, the garbage collector, sorry, everybody, school teachers, bankers. We welcome all the guys on the block, the girls on the block, wherever you may be, people who are employed, people who are unemployed. We greet everyone. So at this time, I'd like Sister Cherry Dunn to say something. She have her special greetings. Let her have the floor now.
Greetings, everyone. Been a while since you all have heard our voices. I just want to send a special greeting out there to every single one of you, especially those who have been loyal listeners on the program, far and near, wherever you are. I greet all of you and I say welcome to our short program.
Yes. Great. Wonderful. So we hope nobody's jealous. We send out our greetings to everybody, whether locally, regionally, or internationally. Okay, let's get to the meat of the matter. We have Sister Sheridan is going to read a piece of history, and we want you to focus on the message this morning. She is going to read a piece of history that will affect us all, because when the Most High, Yahushua Mashiach, speaks, he spoke to mankind. So he spoke and he speak right now, because information is power. So Sister Sheridan, read the message for us, please.
Okay, so I'm reading from the book of Matityahu.
Which is Matthew.
Matthew.
Yes, let the listeners know.
Yes. And
the rich man, eh? Because we talking about
it
rich man.
speaks about, yes, the rich man having a conversation with Yahusha Hamashiach, and where he was trying to, basically, where the rich man was trying to boast himself in a sense.
Sister, read, yeah.
So
read it.
So yes. So here he was saying, Yahusha, he asked him a question about the commandments. And Yahusha was responding by saying, respect your father and your mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The young man said to him, all these I have watched over from my youth. What do I still lack? Yahusha said to him, if you want to be perfect, go sell what you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in the Shamaim, and come follow me. And when the young man heard the word, he went away sad, because he had many possessions. And Yahusha said to his Talmidim, truly I say to you, that it is hard for a rich man to enter into the reign of the Shamaim. And again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the reign of Elohim. And when his Talmidim heard it, they were very astonished, saying, who then is able to be saved?
Okay. This is the message. This is the reading for today. Folks, listeners, friends, you have heard the reading from the Hallelujah Scriptures. For some of you who have the King James Version, you can still find that very piece of history in the book. So we're looking at the rich man. This morning, this afternoon, tonight, we're looking at the rich man. And then, we're going to be dialoguing here, as we normally do. Here comes this rich man to Yahusha. And as Sister Sheridan early said, she said that he came trying to probably boast himself that, look at me, I don't follow you or whatever, and I can still be saved. But Yahusha told him, if you want to enter in the King James Version says, if you want to enter into life, but the Hallelujah says, if you want to be perfect, go and sell all what you have, all the riches you have, all what you own over the years. Take the money and give it to the poor. And the young man went away sorrowful, sad, sorrowful. And we want you to listen to what Yahusha had to say to the Talmudims or the disciples. He said, it is easier, Sister Sheridan, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the reign of the Shamahim. First, to begin, we must tell you, what is the eye of a needle? The eye of a needle, in the days of Israel, they had, before you enter into the city with the goods, you had this little tight, this little semicircle wall, like an arch. And normally they use the camels to put all the goods on the backs of the camel. And when the camel you would put the camel to stand there before that little space, what you call the eye of a needle. But the camel will not be able to enter with the load on its back through that eye of a needle, because that's what it was called, the eye of a needle. So it was not talking about a literal needle. It was talking about the small arch shape passageway, right? And the owner of the camel would have to disembark all the goods of the camel's back, and the camel would have to literally sometimes go down on its four knees, on its knees, as you might call it, and crawl into the eye of a needle to go through. So this is a description of what the eye of a needle is. Friends of mine listening, the camel had to be free from its load. Now, the Messiah used that analogy to bring a point to the rich man and to all of us listening, all of us who have come across this scripture before and will come after. It is saying to us that it is easier for a camel to enter into the eye of a needle. It is easier for a beast, Sister Cherry, isn't that so? An animal to enter into the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the reign of the Shamahim. And that's what it's saying. In other words, it is impossible for a rich man to enter, because most of the time we believe rich people carry privileges. Isn't that so, Sister Cherry?
Oh, yes.
They carry privileges. I mean, when you are rich, sometimes you might go through customs, one border to the next, and people wouldn't search you. You know, normally when people are having the weddings and the parties,
yes,
the first persons on the guest list are the rich ones, those with all the monies.
Yes.
Yes, it's a fact. If a rich man or a rich woman comes to your home, you want to offer them the best glass, you go and get the best glass for them to drink water.
That's right.
The best place to eat. I remember growing up when, certain people come about, some people with the money, they used to have this little thing with a glass case. I forget what they call it. And they used to have all the special plates in there and the special knives and forks. Cherry, do you remember that?
I remember.
Yeah, those of you listening, I'm sure you remember that. Your mother, your grandparents used to have that little glass case thing with plates and pots and glasses and knives.
Yes.
And when the people came, the people with the what do you call the l'argent, the riches, they come about. Mommy or daddy used to go and take it, and then present it, wash it, shine it nicely, because they always give those with the monies the best.
Yeah.
And when the disciples, because this practice has been done for ages. So it's not a recent thing. And when the people, when the disciples or the Talmudims heard and understood the message, folks, this morning we want you to understand the message. The same message the Talmudims received when Yahusha made the analogy. We want you listening to get the same message today. And the same message apply. Hear what they said. Sister Cherry, can you read the last part when the Talmudim said, then who can be saved? I mean, why would, do you have it?
He says, and when his Talmudim heard it, Talmudim refers to who you call
the disciples or apostles.
Yes.
Go ahead.
They were very astonished, saying, who then is able to be saved?
Stop there. You hear what the question they asked? If it was possible for rich people or rich persons to enter the kingdom or to be saved, why would they ask that question? Then who can be saved, Sister Cherry? He says, who can be saved? Because they got the message from the Master himself saying that rich people cannot be saved.
Yes.
Cannot be saved. I mean, you might say, oh, that preacher man this morning is a madman. But because Saul and all of them were rich, and Job and all of them were rich. But I want to tell you something this morning, friends. There are certain things Messiah changed. He allowed it in the Old Testament, or in the Hallelujah says, or in the translation, the original translation said, in the New Testament and the Renewed Testament. So the New Testament covenant, is the Old Testament. Right?
Yes.
And then now, he allowed it to happen. He allowed it to happen back then. But he made a change. He made a public example, what we would say, a public example out of this rich man. So the coming of this rich man to Yahushua HaMashiach asking that question was a life-changing experience, folks. Yes, I want you to get that.
Yes, it was.
It was a life-changing experience. Because at that moment, we know now that rich people cannot be saved. And that is the message this morning. And that is the message the Talmudims, or the apostles, what you call apostles, that is the message they got when they were confronted with the rich man and Yahusha. Yes. And when they saw the response, they say, then who can be saved? That was the question. That was the concern of them. That was the concern. And this is our concern today. There is a scripture that says, labor not to be rich. Sister Cherry will get that in a while, and she's going to read it. You know, friends of mine, in churches today, there are many rich people. And many rich people in churches today, they hold top capacity, top reign. Some of them are pastors. Some of them are deacons, and they're rich people. Some of them part of the worship team and the music, and they do all of these things. And the scripture says, and the teaching of the Yahusha is telling us today, these rich people are not going to be saved. No. If you don't have to believe me, go back and read it for yourself. Look at the scriptures for yourself. Do you have it, Sister Cherry?
Yes.
Read it.
It is from the book of Mishle, which you call Proverbs, chapter 23, and reading from verse 4. It says, straightforward, do not labor to be rich.
You hear what the word says?
Cease from your own understanding.
Right. Labor not to be rich. Because a lot of people believe when you rich, you're prosperous.
Yes.
When you rich, the Messiah is with you. Some people believe that rich people, they are a living testimony that the Messiah is with them. That is a lie. That is a deception. The scriptures cannot be broken, friends. Cannot be broken. Hear what the scripture tells us. Hear what Messiah. I want you to stress on that and think about what Messiah said to that rich man. And he said to the Talmudims. And the most important part I want us to get this morning is that the Talmudims, they got the message. They asked a question. And the question is, was and is still existing today, who then can be saved? If those people with the monies, with the power, with the riches cannot be saved, if a beast, a camel is easier to enter the eye of a needle, but a man and a woman who has riches cannot be saved, then who can be saved? That is the message. That is the message today. So some rich people today, they try to walk in rags. Isn't it, Sister Cherry?
Yes.
They try to wear a slippers or what you call a flip-flop, a cut-up jeans, and they pretend like they don't have money, but they're rich. I'm telling you, you are listening to the program. If you believe you are rich, you are in danger.
Yes.
If you are rich, you are in great danger of salvation. You might be welcomed by your friends. They may love you. They may kiss you. Of course you need love. I don't say you don't need love. But they will exalt you and they will believe because you are with Messiah, that is why you're rich. We are saying, according to the authority of the scriptures, this is not so. The Messiah said to the rich man, go and sell everything. Go and sell it. Ivani, for those people in the Creole language. Sister Cherry wants to read something to you. Let her read it.
Yes, in the book of Timotheus, which is what you call Timothy, chapter 6, I'm reading from verse 4, and it says, but reverence with contentment is great gain. For we brought not into the world, and it is impossible to take any out. When we have food and covering, we shall be satisfied with these. But those wanting to be rich fall into trial and a snare and into many foolish injurious lusts, which plunge men in ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. For which some by longing for it have strayed from the belief and pierced themselves through with many pains. But it says, but you, O man of Elohim, flee from all this pursue righteousness.
Flee from riches.
Reverence.
Flee from riches.
Belief. Love. Endurance, meekness.
Yes, well spoken, well said. Flee riches. Friends of mine, listeners, flee from riches. Do not labor to be rich. This is a commandment. This is a commandment. You don't have a choice. If you want to enter into the reign of the Shamayim of Yahuwah, Yahusha, Amashiach, you need to understand. You need to get the message. Flee from riches. Labor not to be rich. He said it. He said a beast is easier to enter the eye of a needle than for a rich man. When he say rich man, he's talking about rich man or rich woman to enter into life.
Fall into trials and a snare.
This is good news, friends. This is good news. Isn't that so, Sister Cherry?
Oh, yes.
This is good news.
Oh, yes.
Because some of you listening were looking to be rich. Some of you all playing the lotto. Some of you all have contracts upon contracts, building houses over there, building buildings over there, and millions of dollars is being counted. And the scriptures today is calling out to you to save you from your sin. In other words, I'll tell you the ultimate. Maybe I've held it back, but I'll tell you the ultimate. Being rich is a sin. Being rich is a sin, friends. Yes, it is.
You know, I just wanted to add a little bit quickly to that.
Go ahead.
With regards to the last chapter I read there, this is in the book of Timotheus, where it talks about, you know, it will lead you into a snare and it ruins man. I recall there's a situation with a man. Actually, I think there were two accounts like that, where two examples, where this man he won this mega million jackpot. It was in the US, the United States, and was a good couple millions of dollars. And this man, when he won this huge amount of money, he had this woman become his manager over how he spends his money, how he, over the affairs of how he uses up the money. And that woman, she ended up killing the man for his millions. And she covered up the entire detail of, she covered up the whole story.
The whole plot.
Right, as to exactly how he died. Only in investigating the matter, they found out that it was actually that same woman that he put there to manage the affairs of how he uses the money.
He's the one that took him out.
Took his own life. So that man never actually enjoyed the amount of money that he actually won.
But even
this scripture falls directly into place with that story.
Snares.
Oh yeah.
Snares. Diverse snares.
Diverse snares.
Just recently, two young boys, they tried to kill their parents.
Yes.
For the insurance money.
Yes.
I guess it was a lump sum of money, right? So many young men and women are into drugs. Again, all that is snares of the devil, snares of Hashatan, and his money is the base. Riches is the focus, the primary focus. Sometimes we say, you know what? If I get a lump sum of money, I'm going to help the poor.
That's why he says
if I get a lump sum of money, I'm going to go to the hospitals and I'm going to make a donation.
No.
Some people say I'm going to help the poor, build houses, give them food, and all these nice, pretty words. I mean, it's very nice words.
See, that's why
because l'argent, their money not there. But it's not that we're saying that they're not people taking the money to do good things. We're not saying that. But what we are telling you today, that Messiah says,
yes,
it is a sin.
Yes.
That's what he's saying. So it's not my call to say you can give to the poor or you cannot give to the poor. Messiah says, one, labor not to be rich. That's his words. That's his words. I mean, these are not my words. You might say, but Wayne, if I was rich, I would give you a studio for you to do your broadcasting. You know what I'm saying? You might say all these nice things, but Messiah says no. And the rich man here, Sister Cherry and listeners, he didn't tell him invest the monies, sell the properties and invest the money and make more money. No. Because trust me, if anybody could have known what to do with the money, Messiah would know, right?
Yes.
He would know what to do with it. He would just say, well, you know what? Sell what we have and invest it, and then you're going to make triple. He said no to him. He said, if you sell all what you have, you follow me, you're going to have treasure in the Shamayim. That's what he told him. He's going to give him treasure. But he didn't trust him. And so, friends, the same message is ironing out to all of us, including myself. I'm Sister Sheridan. You listening, friends, on the other side of the diaspora, wherever you may be. That same message applies today.
Yes.
And that same message. And remember, you see, the gist, if you were like in two opinions to whether to know whether it was right to be rich or not, I want you to read the last part. Listen to the last part that talks about when the Talmudim said, then who can be saved? It means that no rich man or woman can be saved. That's why they made that they put that question to him. All right? So we thank you.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to just quickly end my portion by saying that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to repeat with regards to the question. He says, who then can be saved? The scripture says, here a little, there a little. It ends in the last verse I read, which is verse 11 of chapter 6. It says, but you, O man of Elohim, man meaning both male, female, flee from all this and pursue righteousness.
Yes.
Reverence, belief, love, endurance, meekness. Yes.
Flee from riches. Thank you, listening friends. I hope some of you who pay attention to the truth, I mean, we always tell you go back to the scriptures and see what the scriptures. Yes, we told you the truth, but we always want you to go back and go and see it. Connect with the word. Connect with your Messiah. Connect. And don't mind no rich man or no rich woman telling you, if I can build a nice church for you, I can paint it up and all of these things, all this nice fancy dandy. We have to listen to what the Messiah says. It is a deception. Riches will deceive your heart and it will take you out of life. Thank you again for listening, friends. Bravo. Take care of yourself. Continue to listen and continue to connect with us. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.